is available in podcast form by searching Hans and Scotty on your favorite podcasting platform or online at KSLSports.com. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I don't know if this is, well, no. I need to verify this first before I tell you, but there may have been a really unfortunate butt dial that just took place with me and somebody on our staff that I may have heard some things that I didn't really want to hear.
Oh, boy. It was DJ.
Let's just say plumbing's sounds like it's working pretty well for him. Everything's
that's unfortunate.
Going the way
so
that it should.
An actual butt dial.
No, well, yeah. It was a 30-second timeout, not a full timeout. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Frank Dolce is going to join us coming up here in just a moment. Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard, hope you're having a great start to your week. As the transfer portal, we are right square dab in the middle of it. Smith Snowden is now on his way to chat with Michigan. He's going to make a bunch of different visits, but I think Michigan he's going to go to Colorado, then Michigan. He'll take a trip to BYU and explore his options. So Smith Snowden is going to fetch a nice little penny in the open market for sure. Go ahead.
Another reason that I wanted Gennaro Guilford to be retained at BYU, I thought if anybody had a chance at securing Smith, it'd be Gennaro. So that was another tough one to lose Gennaro, because I do think that Smith knows Gennaro can get him to where he really ultimately wants to be. Not that Sharif couldn't, because Sharif did, but I think he's very attached to Gennaro, his lifelong family friends.
Joining us now, lifelong friends of ours, it's Frank Dolce, right here on the Zone. Hi, Frank.
Wow. We're really starting the new year off the right way.
Happy New Year's, Frank.
Frank, we just miss you. That's all.
Happy New Year. Do you?
Yeah.
As much as I miss you, I mean.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yep.
Our Thursdays are not the same without Frank Dolce.
And I always tell you guys that in all sincerity, like during the football season, Thursday is my favorite day of the week. I love coming in there and just chatting it up with you guys. Nothing better.
It is. It is the best. Are you still going to enjoy it with all these hires that we just saw?
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like changing conferences. I mean, it's a whole new thing. We get to talk about all these new guys and everything that all of this. There's the expectations change, and so it's like brand new material each and every week.
You saw a little bit. I think you called one or two Utah State games this year. Was it one? So you saw a little bit of Kevin McGivern's offense. What were your indications? I know that was probably the FCS game in which they won by a lot, but give me what your memory serves of that offense.
I think the most important thing about that offense is there's significant similarities to what Jason Beck was doing at Utah, and that's meaningful, especially for the way they've recruited and the talent they have available. So I think that's a big thing. Of course, the pig farmer was running I don't even know if we're allowed to call him that anymore, was running the offense. And I love that guy. My admiration for him has just increased year after year after year, the way that he just manages himself and performs every week and just 100% effort all the time. I think that's going to be an interesting thing too for Utah if they can get that kind of commitment out of the team, like it feels like he had up at Utah State. I don't think that's really an issue. But if he does get that commitment out of Utah, I think he has a chance to be really successful. I guess in all of this regarding Utah's offense, my big concern is the loss of talent at the line of scrimmage. And I think that's going to be a piece to really watch.
I really hammered that with Scotty. Jordan Gross probably has the biggest job of anybody coming in and taking over that offensive line. But before we continue to get into this staff and what's going on at Utah, how do you feel about what Kyle Whittingham has done?
In taking the job or in aligning with really good coaching?
Yeah, all of that. Yeah, taking the job and taking the coaches. Yeah, I mean, I guess I have tried to build and paint my perspective. Obviously, you're on social media, so you see Utah fans and now BYU fans. Everybody's kind of losing their minds over the pillaging. It's totally understandable to me because it's exactly what I would do. But I want to get your perspective as a former Ute and just a longtime part of that program. How do you feel about all this?
Well, I mean, I probably have a different perspective than some of the fan base, and I just could not be more appreciative of what Kyle Whittingham meant to the University of Utah and to the football program and the program that he built. And to be a perennial top 15 team in the nation is amazing and unbelievable. And I'm not so sure there's many guys who could accomplish what he accomplished with the resources that he had available. And so I look at he's not just one of the Utah greats in football coaching. He's one of the collegiate football greats in collegiate football coaching. So I have nothing but respect and admiration for what he did and what he accomplished. And from what I understand about the way he departed, I don't know if it was necessarily all his decision. And so I have to factor that in as well. So take all of that aside. And by the way, if anyone thinks that his legacy is damaged at the University of Utah by what he's doing now, that's just foolish. I mean, that is literally just foolish to think that way. But what he is doing now is he's going to an iconic college football program with extraordinarily high expectations. And he has to surround himself with people who he knows and who he trusts, who can get on the same page as quickly as possible, like from day one. And that's not diminishing any of the coaching staff that's been at Michigan. That's an incredible coaching staff as well. But if you heard Coach after the game talk about the disarray at Michigan for the last several years, I thought those were really interesting comments. And the truth is, Coach Whittingham is going there to tighten, get the ship back in order. And there's no better way to do that than with people you trust and with culture that you can build from day one. So I have I have a hard time being upset or angry or anything about the way that he's building his staff and putting together that football program.
Totally agree.
And if you're a competitor like he is and, you step down, and I think Kyle Whittingham was fully prepared just to hang out with his grandkids and play golf. Mm-hmm. But as he mentioned, there were 3 or 4 jobs that if they came calling, he would listen. And I think Michigan's obviously was one of those. But, he's done so much. And when I say this isn't a knock on Utah. It's just like Utah is where they are in terms of the blue bloods and teams that have unlimited resources in terms of cash. Kyle Whittingham has done more with less than anybody else in the history of college athletics, in college football. And so in your mind, you're thinking, okay, what could I do if I had more? What could I do if I had unlimited resources that I could pay whatever I wanted for whoever I wanted, and I had everything at my disposal? There is no check on any amount of money that I can spend to bring a winner to Ann Arbor. And I got to imagine that's appealing as a coach, being like, okay, I've had to scrimp and save and do this and say no to this and unable to match this. I don't have to do that anymore. I'm curious to know what I can do on this stage.
I agree with that. And And I would say that I believe Coach Whittingham will be super thoughtful about that. He understands the grind and the challenge of building a football program with not necessarily a lack of resources, but different resources, and developing talent and developing young men and creating culture. And I think he'll be really thoughtful about doing that at Michigan. I know he has an open checkbook, and that's a luxury. But if he can instill his culture of, pack your lunch pail and go to work, blue collar mentality at Michigan with those resources, that could be a really good formula for success.
All right, Frank, so let's talk about it. He did pillage the Utah staff, and we've seen the replacements. Kevin McGivern is the offensive coordinator. Colton Swan is the defensive coordinator. Jordan Gross, O-line.
I think that's great. I love that.
Derek Odom is the safeties coach. Chad Bumphus comes in at receivers.
Bumphus!
Bumphuses! Inoke Brechterfield at the defensive end position. Kind of walk us through retaining Sharif, retaining Luther, retaining Mark Yatawaya. What do you think of what we're seeing with this staff?
I think Morgan Scalley has done a nice job of bringing in really talented positions, coaches for position groups and coordinators to maintain and hopefully even improve upon, which I think is difficult, what Coach Whittingham has built. And I would say about all of these hires, and I think the thing that Coach Scalley is going to have to figure out, there's a difference of being a coordinator and then being a head coach, and the relationships that you have with your staff and how you manage those relationships appropriately to get the best out of everybody. And I think we saw Coach Sataki have a struggle with that for a couple of years down south, and that's a real thing. I wouldn't be surprised if, it takes a minute for Coach Scalley to figure that out. But I think he's put really good talent and a lot of experience in place. He went out and got some guys who have been away from the program for a while, like Derek Odom, who's a fantastic safety at the University of Utah. He's been coaching all over the place with great success. And so he gets a little bit of outside influence, but still an understanding of what the University of Utah culture is like. And then, of course, Swan at the defensive coordinator. I love that. Jordan Gross. I love that. I think he's done a really nice job in a short amount of time putting together what could be a really excellent staff.
Frank Dolce joining us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. When you look at, I want to zero in, and Hans, I want you to kind of jump on this as well, because you've talked about this at great length already in the first hour of the show. When you have an important hire to make on that offensive line, and Jordan Gross, phenomenal player, I think he should be in the Hall of Fame, but there's a lot of times those guys make the transition into coaching, and they were just such at a high level in talent that they have a hard time coaching because everything came somewhat easy to them, where it may not come easy to a player, and they can't relate in that way, shape, or form. Magic Johnson tried to coach for 10 minutes and realized, okay, I suck at this. It isn't going to work. And I'm not saying that's the case with Jordan Gross, but he has coached at high school, not a lot of collegiate coaching experience. How concerned are you about making that transition to this next level?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is a concern. Michael Jordan doesn't coach and wasn't a great GM, the greatest player of all time. I mean, you're exactly right. There's sometimes this difficulty in being a great player, and then that translates into great coaching. So I think there's some reason to be concerned about that. But I mean, I would say that Jordan Gross has all of the tools available, and so he has the makings of a great coach. And now we'll have to see if that translates for him. But I think you're exactly right. There's going to be some concern about that. I think other coaches on the staff outside of that one, there's a lot of experience. There's plenty of game tape on those guys to have a comfort level. But it's a good question something to be aware of with coach growth.
Hey, Frank, take us back to 2004-ish, 2005-ish. You're on the call. You're watching Kyle take that staff over. Scotty and I were talking about it. It was him and Gary Anderson, and he had to build the staff. Take us back to that time when Kyle, because that was Kyle starting his legacy, and the people he put around him. Talk about some of those people that he put around him, how he built it, and are there any similarities between that time and what you saw Kyle do and what you're seeing Morgan do?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say the same thing about Coach Whittingham is it took a couple years. It probably took a couple years to figure out the relationships, how to manage the relationships between a head coach and a staff rather than just being staff to staff, if that makes sense. It's a different way of that you have to manage people. And I think if you even ask Coach Whittingham, he would look back on some of the hires he made and some of the ways that he managed some of those staff. Like maybe he would have rethought that. He had to go through that process. Like I said, I think Morgan's and he figured it out. Like clearly he figured that out and figured it out pretty quickly. I would say Morgan's going through the same thing. And even with playing under Coach Whittingham, playing under Urban Meyer, being involved under one of the great college football coaches of all time, training in that environment, it just is different when you're the guy standing on the sideline and you have to make a call on 3rd and 6. Like, deep in your own territory and time's running out, And so, or like, if you have a good coaching staff, those guys are going to move along. It's just the nature of the beast. And how do you manage refilling those positions at a high level year in and year out? And the other thing is, like, a lot of those guys and Coach Scally are kind of buddies. And it's not like,
I know where you're going there. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know what, when your buddy's not performing at the level that he needs to perform, like how do you manage that?
Yeah.
There's a way to manage that, and there's a way to not manage it. And those are all, until you actually have the whistle in your hand and you have to make that decision, it's all really great to say, he's going to, he has all the makings of a good head coach. And then we'll have to just see it in real time, how he manages all those situations.
Well, I can tell you one thing, watching Kalani Sitake, who's a Kyle Whittingham coaching product, he definitely learned from Kyle how you manage buddies. And if the buddies aren't getting it done, you move the buddies out. And we've seen Kalani move some people out and make some hires, and we've seen the product improve. So
absolutely,
I think Morgan's probably watched Kyle. He's probably watched Kalani, and he's, I would send a pretty solid message to the staff. Hey, I know we've all been here a long time, and I know that we all have some level of comfortability, but if we don't win, I'm out and you're out. We're all out. So we better all be on our best game, and we've got a high standard around here to match. Kyle Whittingham left him with a 10-win season or an 11-win season. 11 wins, wasn't it? He left him with an 11-win season. It's like, guys, there's no wiggle room here. We don't have time for missing bowl eligibility and rebuilding. Like, there's an expectation, and if you guys want to glad hand and smile and brother-in-law, we're all going to be busted. So I got to imagine, Frank, he's put the hammer down on him, right?
Well, if he hasn't, he's going to at some point. He's going to be put in the position that he has to do that at some point. And it's just a matter of whether or not he is ready to do that. And by the way, this isn't doom and gloom. I'm not like saying, Coach Scally's never dealt with this. It's just like he's going to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And so we'll see how he manages it. But like I said earlier, all indications are that he has all the tools necessary, and he's building a really good staff around him to be very successful.
I mean, Lloyd, we considered him a friend, and then he became the boss, and he yells at us all the time, and it's been a rough transition.
There's a guy that really understands how to take that managerial role and run with it. Like, he has no problem. I mean, some people say no conscience. I say no problem in harshly dealing with the minions who work for him. I think that's probably fair to say.
I mean, when he yelled at a poor kid to get your stuff and get the bleep out, I mean, that was a rough day around here. And and he looked at the rest of us and said, all right, what are you looking at? I'll tell you to do the same thing here pretty soon. So
you're next. Yeah.
So sad.
Hey, and listen, hey, Lloyd, nobody blames you. Someone has to be that guy. And, you're just that guy.
The bad cop. Always got to be a
bad cop.
Yep.
By the way, I know we're wrapping this up, but can I just make one more comment about Coach Whittingham and his legacy? What about his coaching tree? I mean, what about the guys that he's trained who have gone on to be so super successful coaches elsewhere? I mean, I think that's something that goes underrated, is the people who have worked for him and have gone on and have become really good coaches all over the place.
Plenty of them.
Yeah, it's quite the tree. There's no doubt about it. And it's going to be weird seeing him roam the sidelines there at Michigan. But I think that there will be some people here in Utah that will become Michigan fans, and also those that will root very heavily against Michigan. So we'll see how that plays out for sure. Hey, you're the best, man. We appreciate it. And we will talk to you soon.
Bye, Frank.
You guys are the best. It's great to talk to you. Happy New Year.
Can't wait to see you, buddy.
Yeah. Let's not wait until September of 26 to get him back in studio.
No, we got to get him back soon.
Yeah. All right, Hans and Scotty, good, bad, the ugly coming up. Also, we'll chat a little hockey with Bill Armstrong, general manager of the Utah Mammoth, at 2:05. It's right here on 97.5, the EKSL Sports Zone.
It's time to saddle up and talk about the winners and the losers. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, here's the good.
It is the good, it is the bad, it is the ugly right here on 97.5, the EKSL Sports Zone. Let's look around the NFL, Hans, with the good. I know you had a really good experience there watching your Raiders get a big victory against the Kansas City Chiefs. But how about Myles Garrett breaking the single-season sack record? Just really impressive to see him get it done. And when you look at that many sacks, when you look at 23 sacks on a season, that's a ridiculous number.
23 sacks. That's the NFL season?
Single season record of 23 sacks. And he did it sacking Joe Burrow, got past Orlando Brown Jr., and Burrow started going to the ground as Garrett put a hand on the quarterback. And to see him get that, T.J. Watt originally had it with 22.5. Remember, Michael Strahan had it for a while when Brett Favre took the dive, and then Mark Gastineau had it before him. So there's your lineage of sack records.
All right, so are people interested in sack records when your team just sucks?
And the next day you fire your coach because your team's terrible.
Yeah. So here's how some of the numbers went. His best game was 5 sacks against New England. So that would have been, was that May that he was ripping out of the pocket? Yeah. He had 4 sacks against Baltimore. He had 3 sacks against the Raiders. He had 2 sacks against Cincinnati. So he had a 5-sack game, a 4-sack game, a 3-sack game, a 2-sack game, and then multiple 1-sack games. Man, he played against a lot of mediocre offensive lines and quarterbacks that like to sit. But 23 sacks at age 30.
Well, and also keep in mind that he needed 17 games to get there. So he did it on the 17th game, whereas everybody else, TJ Watt may have needed 17, but other than that, everybody was a normal the original 16-game schedule. So it does probably need a Barry Bonds asterisk next to it, as far as I'm concerned.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, but either way, it's extremely spectacular, and he's got to get really tired of playing for a team that doesn't win.
I mean, it's like Joe Thomas, who is a first ballot Hall of Famer for the Cleveland Browns and never played a single playoff game. Never made the playoffs. And you know, we've had people talk about it, and it's just ridiculous how you can go in Cleveland, you can have a remarkable career and still be part of just a trash organization.
Yep.
By the way, the Denver Broncos are the number 1 seed in the AFC playoffs. Seattle Seahawks will be your number 1 seed on the NFC. So both those teams will get a week bye, and then, but it's wild card weekend coming up, and I can't wait, Hans. Cannot wait. Let's go.
It's the best weekend. My favorite weekend is wild card because it's just stacked full of good teams and one or two upsets and some big plays, some big moments. And it starts to form what the NFL is going to look like. So I love that. And, you know, I was talking about the NFL postseason as compared to the NCAA postseason. I was talking about Indiana. So if Indiana ends up winning the national championship, they will have played 4 games in a 44-day period.
Yeah.
If Denver goes on to win a Super Bowl, they will have played 4 games in closer to about a 34-day period. 10 days less to be able to nominate the champion of a 32-team league. Now, I know people are looking at it like, oh, well, yeah, but the NCAA is 136 teams. Wait a second. No, it's a 12-team playoff.
Yeah.
This is a 12-team playoff. The NFL is a 14-team playoff. And they're able to establish their Super Bowl champion inside 34 days. And we can't figure out our college champion inside 44 days?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It is. It's astounding to me. But
if we expand it to 16, they'll probably add another week and a half to this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They'll just keep dragging it on. At some point, they're going to be playing past Super Bowl day.
All right, there's your good. Let's get to the bad.
Now the bad.
Well, Hans, you can always say that you were there for Pete Carroll's final coaching job. The last time Pete Carroll, like when Pete Carroll passes away or Pete Carroll, anything monumental happens in Pete Carroll's life, you can always say, well, I saw his last game as a head coach in the NFL as Pete Carroll is fired after 1 year. How many coaches are you paying off, Lloyd? That got to be a lot
I think
of
there's
them.
a couple of them still. Feels like there are.
I think you're still paying John Gruden, aren't you?
They're about to pay probably a quarterback off, too, here shortly.
Gino. Oh, man. So, yeah, Hans, who knew you were watching history yesterday?
I can't even believe it. So Chip Kelly's gone, right?
Yeah, they fired him a while ago.
All right, so Chip Kelly's gone, and then, you know, you're definitely looking at a quarterback situation that's gone bad. But you brought in a 73-year-old that turned 74 on your watch, and when you did that, it was like, geez, man, he's 73. He's going to be 74 here soon, and everybody loves Pete Carroll, and he tries to act young. But here's the deal. I think you could put Pete Carroll in with the Denver Broncos right now, and you're probably a 4 or 5 win team.
True.
How many coaches have we seen come through Denver that just couldn't organize it?
A lot.
Couldn't get it going. And I don't know what the Raiders got to do, but they've got to find something in the coaching world that can organize this talent.
I feel like you have somebody you would like to see back in there.
Josh McDaniels. Let's go.
You shut your face. Why would you do that?
Hey,
Chucky's available?
I don't think. I don't.
You would like to see Chucky. I think you would.
I don't think Art Shell is still with us.
Art Shell is, and he's had like about 3 runs with the Raiders.
Arch,
since the 80s.
Scotty, do you think John Gruden could win in the NFL?
I do.
I do too. And I mean, it was such an ugly parting. I know I'm not going to make him president of ops anymore. I mean, he's not going to be the full shot caller. But I'm just trying to think what are the better options in the league, and there's just not much out there.
I mean, who had heard of? And honestly, I'm sure there's some NFL nerds out there like, well, we knew who he was. But Liam Cohen, like, was he on anybody's radar last year? No, but he gets the Jacksonville job and turns that program around. And, I mean, they won 13 games this year.
In fact, after his goofy intro presser, I was like, this guy's going to fail. This guy's going to fail, and he didn't.
He didn't. I mean, he turns that program around, and the dude walks on water in Jacksonville now. So, again, it doesn't need to be a household name, but you can't screw this one up.
Kurt Signetti.
Whoa, Lloyd, Kurt Signetti? You really want to go after the geriatric guys, don't you?
He is up there, too.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like it, but I didn't realize he's as old as he is.
Pete Carroll didn't look like it either, but
I think Pete Carroll's actually a year younger than Signetti.
Signetti's 64, so that'd be 10 years younger.
Are you sure he's 64?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, you're talking about Signetti, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe it was Kyle that was a year older than Signetti.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
By the way, you look down the list, a lot of other coaches fired. This is what they call it. They call it Black Monday for a reason. Let's see. Arizona fires Jonathan Gannon. He's out. The Atlanta Falcons completely go scorched earth, firing their general manager and their head coach. And Cleveland fires their head coach. So, yeah, across the board, it's a rough day in the NFL. And the thing is, like, I don't feel bad for the head coaches because they're fine. They'll get paid out, and they'll go to their house in Florida or Miami or, Hawaii or wherever. They're fine. But
they'll retread somewhere else.
There's grad assistants out there. Or not grad assistants, but there's assistants and staff members that are making next to no money that now have to uproot their lives and figure out where they're going to go and beg, plead. I mean, I've had so many people reach out to me, and I have no connections whatsoever, but I've had 3 or 4, coaches that are looking like, hey, do you have Morgan's number? Hey, do you have, do you have so-and-so's number? And I'm like, I have nothing, but that's because people are desperate. They're looking for any kind of in they have to try to get employment because they've got kids' braces to pay for. They've got just every cost you can think of as a parent and as a husband and as a father. And it's scary for a lot of guys out there this time of year.
Hey, speaking of finding the opportunity, our resident Kansas City Chief yearly Super Bowl interview, Alex Whittingham, was hired by his father, Kyle, to go to Michigan.
Yes, linebacker coach, correct?
Yeah. So you're just talking about these opportunities because what did we say with Alex? He'd been there, 8 years? Was it 8 seasons he was in Kansas City?
Yeah, yep, long time.
And he was grinding and just doing everything he could. And it felt like staying loyal to Andy Reid, and he finally found the opportunity to jump to Michigan. So, man, you find those windows and you go take them. By the way, speaking of Andy Reid, how much longer does he do this thing in Kansas City?
Oh, boy, I would shut it down right now, honestly, because there's a lot of heavy lifting that needs to go on there. And you saw that team. I mean, you know that there's some deficiencies there. Granted, you got Patrick Mahomes, so you should be able to rebound somewhat quickly. But at what point do you just like, you know what? Let somebody younger take over and let them deal with it. I'm out. I want to just enjoy life. Eat some burgers, fire up the barbecue in the back, enjoy good weather. I don't know if he golfs, but just enjoy some life.
He's Kyle Whittingham's age. He's 1 year older than Kyle Whittingham. So he's just kind of in that range. He's definitely retirement age, but and you're right, there is a lot of heavy lifting. Plus, you're wondering if Patrick Mahomes comes back the way he left, and oh man, there's some tough decisions to be made. Really tough decisions to be made with what was a 10-year dynasty.
At least he doesn't have a tight end pushing him around anymore.
Yeah, that was always weird. I didn't like that.
I felt like that's when I would have walked, when Kelsey pushed me in the chest during a Super Bowl. I think that's – was that during a Super Bowl or was that a playoff game? I can't remember.
I can't either. I just remember seeing it and being disgusted by it. You don't do that to a coach.
Oh, especially Andy, man. What are you talking about? Touching my coach. That's crazy. But I got to imagine. I don't know, Lloyd. Is there any way we could get him in Raider Nation?
Oh, there you go. There you go. Andy to Vegas.
Are you sure you would like to do that to Andy? Are you sure you'd like to do that to him?
Oh, man. We got to do something here, Lloyd, because this is great. I mean, this is great venue, and the seats are packed, and the show is incredible. They just got to get a team that people could be proud of over here.
I know. It's an all-time franchise, all-time logo, and it's not going in the right direction. Not for you and myself.
Hey, by the way, I thought of you last night because nobody gets just irate at kickers more than you do. And playoffs on the line. You make a field goal, your team goes to the playoffs. It's not just winning a game. No, it's sending your team to the playoffs. And all you have to do is just split the uprights. You have one job. You got one job as a kicker. And unfortunately, the Baltimore Ravens, after they got into field goal range, misses the field goal last play. And so it's the Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers going to the playoffs, and the Baltimore Ravens are done.
Ooh, Tyler Loop, buddy.
44 yards. In this day and age, when guys are like a 57-yard field goal is just like nothing anymore to these guys in the NFL, and he misses a 44-yarder.
Remember, he comes from the University of Arizona. He's a Wildcat, so he was playing in the Big 12 last year. Just a rookie, just a pup, and he's trying to figure life out. And I saw Coach Harbaugh walking off the field with him, trying to talk him into some better feelings. But this guy was fantastic this year. 89% on field goals.
You can't come back to that locker room, though, can you? Like they're going to have to move on from him.
I think so. I think so, because he is just a rookie and he is a kicker, and they're replaceable. And Baltimore, you want to give a kid an opportunity to redeem himself, but Baltimore's got to just be out of their minds.
You know what's interesting is the only way that Baltimore is in a situation to win that game is that their PAT was blocked on the touchdown before. The Austin touchdown from Rodgers, it should have been 27-24, but a special teams miscue allowed Baltimore to get in a situation to win that game instead of just sending it into overtime. So, I mean, special teams, man, just ugly. All right, there you go. Good, the bad, the ugly, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Little whole world news coming up next, and then we will chat with Bill Armstrong, general manager of the Utah Mammoth, at 2 o'clock. It's right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Whole World News on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
We've got the whole world in our hands. You got the whole world in our hands. We've got the whole.
Bill Armstrong, general manager of the Utah Mammoth, will join us coming up here in just a moment. But right now, Hans, it's time for another edition of Whole World News.
All right, Scotty, let's go back to our hometowns of Declo and Weiser.
Yeah.
We smelled like onions most of the year in Weiser. What was the predominant smell in Declo?
That would be cow manure.
Oh, silage.
Oh,
Would be, okay, so cow manure in Declo, onions in Weiser. And so I don't want to hear it from the residents of Haverhill, Massachusetts, because Haverhill, Massachusetts was awarded a Dunkin' Donuts factory or plant. Now, this Dunkin' Donuts plant in Haverhill,
Sounds delightful.
it produces 1 million donuts per day, Scotty.
Per day?
Per day.
Wow.
1 million donuts per day in this Dunkin' Donuts factory in Haverhill, Massachusetts. And everybody was excited because it was bringing industry and it was bringing excitement. And now everybody's complaining about it smelling like a carnival, like fried dough in their town of Haverhill. And I want to backhand every person in Haverhill and tell them to shut their mouths, because one of the most glorious smells in all the world is deep fried dough.
Yes. Yep. 100% right. When you go to the fair and you walk down that where they're deep frying everything, there isn't a better smell on the entire planet than that.
Nope, that's number one. And the deep fryer on a corn dog is one of the greatest smells my nose has ever undertaken. That and even like a deep fried tortilla and just the smell coming off the oil and the dough. And when you're talking about a donut it's a little bit more of a sweet fried dough smell. But the town is complaining, and now they're going to local government to try to get the Dunkin' Donuts plant shut down because they think that the smell could potentially be hazardous. It's wafting into their homes.
Oh,
and
shut up.
It's sitting on the kids' clothes, and my kids are getting made fun of because they smell like a maple glazed donut at school, and all of this baloney is. I wish that they understood how tough it was to smell like onions.
Yeah. And it's sad because if there was a kid that showed up at our school that smelled like a maple glazed donut, he immediately would be the most popular kid in school.
The first thing that Tom Osborne, the Nebraska coach, said when he arrived at my house at 7:30 in the morning in Weiser was, "Geez, it reeks like onions here." That was his first comment. And it does. Weiser, it was a stinky onion haven. And I just can't think. I can't imagine the luxury of smelling fried dough every day of my life. But there were a couple things that were shocking, that people didn't like the smell of fried dough, but that this one plant makes 1 million donuts per day for Dunkin' Donuts.
You imagine how the impact of the local economy would take a hit if you shut down a plant that produces 1 million donuts every single day. Yeah, that's not going to end well for you guys. So you probably ought to enjoy the local economy and the benefits that come with it outside of the wonderful smell of fried dough.
Yep.
All right, Bill Armstrong joins us next. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.